Have you ever sold a watch and then experienced seller's remorse? I have, thankfully, only on a handful of occasions, but up to now I've resisted the temptation to go back and rebuy those watches. But there was a Seiko that I sold a few months ago and I seriously regretted selling it, so I've re-bought it. It's the first time I've ever done that. Did I do the right thing? Here it is then. This is the JDM Seiko, the SBTM323, and it's not identical to the watch that I bought and then sold a few months ago. That was the SBTM307, but so similar. The main differences being the original watch has a 12 and a 6 on the dial. It also has different hands and a textured dial. I'm wondering now actually if I prefer this one. When it first arrived and I unboxed it a little while ago, I was a little bit disappointed. The 307 wasn't actually available from Sakura Watches, which is where I bought this from. So I thought I would get a slightly different version in, and yeah, I thought I was going to be disappointed, but I've had a good look at this watch and actually I think it's a little bit nicer. You get this gorgeous rainbow effect on those twin applied indices at the 12 o'clock. I mean, you get it on the other applied indices as well. But that is normally something reserved for premium watches. You see it a lot on Grand Seiko watches. They basically put little micro cuts into the applied indices and you get this sort of rainbow effect. It's beautiful, and the original watch that I had a brushed 12 at the 12 o'clock and a brushed 6 at the 6 o'clock, so there wasn't as much light play. It had, I guess, a more sort of sporty look to it, the original one, but yeah, I think I'm also preferring the hands on this one now. It's got a more simple second hand. There's a little bit of sort of Saab to this watch, isn't there? Right, I'm just going to pause the review to give you guys a very brief moment to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and maybe hit that bell notifications icon so you don't miss out on future uploads. You'll be doing me and their channel a massive favour, so thank you guys, appreciate your support. Now you may have noticed the second hand ticking once every second. It's hitting all the markers, which is really good news. I think I would expect it to. This watch has cost £250 to buy and £50 to import from Japan, so it's cost me £300. What's that, about $400? So it's not the most affordable Seiko, but actually I think it's representing incredible value for money. Yes, it is quartz. It's a solar quartz, a radio controlled solar quartz. I'll run through some of the specifications and functions in a moment. But yeah, I don't mind that. I think this could be classed as the ultimate sort of pick up and go. It's got a perpetual calendar function as well, and that will work accurately until the year 2100. So yeah, barring battery replacements, once you've set this thing, you're pretty much good to go forever. And one of the reasons I fell in love with the first watch was the crystal. It has a super clear coating. There is AR coating, you can see it on the crystal, but I've seen this on a few Seikos that I've imported from Japan. They seem to do something extra to the crystals, which makes them look, well, completely invisible, like there's just no crystal on the watch. It's remarkable, it really is. At certain angles, yes, you can see the crystal reflecting and you can see that blue AR coating, but then at other angles, it literally looks like the crystal is missing. And I have unboxed watches in the past and genuinely thought they've forgotten to put the crystal in. It's that good, it really is that good. It gives you such a clear view through to the dial, and this particular dial, applied indices and hands. Yeah, very attractive, and I don't mind for 1 second that this is a quartz watch. It sits quite flat on my wrist, and yeah, overall the specifications are actually pretty good. So the crystal is sapphire. Unfortunately, the clasp is pressed. That is the main weakness, I think. You do have solid links. They are split pins, but yeah, I don't mind that too much. The bracelet is beautifully finished. It's mostly brushed, but there are some polished accents, some polished facets on there. The case is very nicely finished. The brushing is a beautiful satin brushing. There are some polished chamfered edges on the case as well. The transitions between the polishing and the brushing seems pretty good. The end links, perhaps not the best fitting end links. They sit below the lugs, look, and they're a little bit more rounded than the case. But yeah, I don't mind that too much at all. It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm thrilled with it, actually. The more I look at it, the more I think, actually, I probably prefer this one without the 12 and 6 on the dial. And the build quality does feel like a step up from the sort of watches you'd buy within the UK at jewellers for the same sort of money. It could be because there is a quartz movement inside this watch, and maybe it's a cheaper movement to produce and supply with watches, but yeah, the build quality does seem better than I would usually expect on a £250, £300 Seiko. One thing I think it is missing is some sort of text or something in the bottom half of the dial. It doesn't look sterile. Obviously, you've got a very nicely applied Seiko logo in the top half of the dial, but yeah, the bottom half just looks a little bit empty. I don't think I would want the word quartz in there or anything like that, or even solar. I don't know. I don't know what you could put in there really. Maybe 100M. It has 100 meters of water resistance, which is a bit of a surprise considering the caseback is a clip-on sort of compression caseback. You've got a pull, push, crown. Crown action is nice though. Pull it out to the second position, and then you feel these really obvious clicks when you adjust the minute hand, minute by minute. Look at that. And yeah, you've got this extra button on the case. If you press that, the second hand will indicate whether or not it has connected to a radio tower recently. If it does connect, then you will get incredible accuracy. If not, then it's fairly typical, sort of 15 seconds a month plus minus, which is fairly standard for quartz watches. I can't take my eyes off it, truth be told. I think it's a really, really good looking watch. There are some watches that just seem to connect with me and give me strong tingles, and this is definitely one of them. Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. And here it is on my roughly average sized wrist. I believe it's 39.5 millimeters in diameter, less than 10 millimeters thick. And yeah, the weight distribution is fairly good despite that pressed clasp, because there's not a huge amount of weight in the case, and you do have solid links in the bracelet. And yeah, surprisingly, I've been able to get a pretty decent fit despite there only being 2 micro adjustment levels on that outer shell. Look at it. What do you think, guys? Am I seeing something that perhaps most people don't? Why do I find these watches so attractive? In fact, there's a lot of really good looking watches in the SBTM range. When you finished watching this video, just Google Seiko SBTM. There are literally hundreds of them. I think they're all radio controlled solar quartz watches. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, there's too many for me to check and confirm. But I think I've seen now 2 of the best looking ones. Yep, the more I'm seeing this one, the less I'm regretting not waiting for the 307 to come back in stock and actually picking up this one with these, well, nicer hands, nicer applied indices, I think, at the 12 and the 6. Sunburst dial, I think I do prefer the dial on the other one, but yeah, given the choice between the 307 and this 323, yeah, I'm going to keep this one 100%. Right guys, I'll put a link to the Sakura Watches website down below. It's not an affiliate link and I've bought this watch, so no need for the includes paid promotion icon in this video. But yeah, if you do want to use that link, it will just take you to their website, and I suggest if you're interested in these watches, put SBTM in the search bar and they'll come up for you. Right guys, as always, a massive thank you from me to you.